I can't get enough pain. I like it rough, cause I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all.
Hi there YouTube, 28th of January 2013. Yay! My current update. I'm in my exam period, I guess that's what you call it. I have 4 tests, so it's really not too bad. And I'm really amped up, and I hope it will go good. I hope that it's not all in my mind. I really have to crack down and study, and I have to keep reminding myself that that's really the key. Because if I don't do that, then I'll completely screw up. I was supposed to be expelled from school, if you've been watching my videos, and they decided to give me another chance. And I hope to prove not just to them, but also to myself that I can do it. This year is not easy, it's not simple, and I have to keep reminding myself that I did a year, and I'm dealing with the fibro in general I'm dealing with it better than I did. I think mentally and physically I'm not completely with it, but I think I'm dolling a lot with the therapy shopping, which I shouldn't do. Little things that really, give me a little bit of a lift. I'm back to, I have a fashion blog. It's in Hebrew and I started a while back ago, so doing another one parallel to that in English. So I have 2, one in Hebrew, one in English. And it was really a lot of fun. I like clothes, I like fashion, I like color. I feel like I'm making a point because I'm not a standard classic. I'm not a model size, in case you can tell. I'm a size 12 or 14 American, which is like a 16 or an 18 if you live in the UK. And I felt like I was making a statement. I really felt very proud about myself to prove that you can dress very fashionably. In fact, my blog is called Fashion Kitty, Loving Fashion Even If You're a size 44, European 44, which again is 16 UK, 12 American. And I for the longest time I stopped dressing up because I just felt like, why? And I didn't have the strength, and I just felt terrible, and I thought if I waste my energy on that stuff, I'm not going to have energy for the important things. And it's amazing because actually if you do these things, they make you feel good about yourself. And I like getting compliments about how I look and how I invest in my appearance, and those compliments give you an energy boost, not just mentally and how you feel. It just gives you a boost, an actual physical boost. And I started doing it. I started going back to that. I'm really into makeup these days. Makeup is fun. Makeup is fun. Coloring your eyes and putting lipstick on. And I was never into lipstick, and now I am. So I'm really having fun with that, and then I'm really putting time into it. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with leaving the house without anything on, but it really does make a difference. Again, 4 exams. I have to study tomorrow really hard. I keep telling myself, you don't have to get 100, you have to get over 80. Over 80 will really satisfy me to a very large extent. This isn't going to be a morbid video, but it was very interesting because one of the things, I haven't done a video about this because when I felt like talking about it, I just didn't feel like making a video, is about the effects that fibromyalgia has about your brain. I'm sure I'll go back to this sooner or later, but this weekend I was doing a weekend from one of these programs that I do because I'm a student, and we were in Jerusalem, and we did a tour in the old city at noon. And you have a tour guide, and he's asking all these questions, and sometimes somebody knows. Well, that obnoxious person who always knows all the answers to these stupid trivia questions? I'm that person. And people nickname me Miriam Google. Or Google Shomer Shabbat, which means because Orthodox Jews don't use the computer on Shabbos, so that's the idea. And that's who I am. That's a lot of my that's a lot of who I'm invested in terms of my personality. And it just made me feel very good to know that some of that stuff is still there. And perhaps if I figure out how to control my life again, how to put it back into perspective, I'll be able to go back to what truly makes me feel like myself. And one thing that I can definitely tell is, again, that I'm growing back into my elements. A guy hit on me yesterday, and I haven't gone on a date since last summer. It's been like a year and a half, and I haven't had a serious relationship in 3 years. Maybe 2 years? 3 years? Can't remember anymore. It's that sad. So that made me feel good. And like, I haven't had a serious relationship in those 3 years, but I dated a lot. It's just that there isn't very good human male material to find, I guess. And I'm dating again. I'm going back to reading, which I used to do so much of. And I realized that I stopped doing that around the time that I figured that fibromyalgia probably kicked in. Not when I was diagnosed, but way before that. And I have a little bit more energy. I'm thinking about starting. I did a lot of things that I research and read, and I'm very in tune to hearing. In terms of physical things that are going on, my migraines have kicked in. Not so much this winter, and last winter was just horrible. And one thing that currently is going on is I don't have heating in my room because my air conditioning is broke. And I think that's one of the things is causing the fact that I have less migraines. I do, however, suffer from horrible nausea. Oh, I have to tell you this part. I'll make a separate video. But I went to a disability committee, not committee, isn't that the right word, meeting. We have 3 doctors, and they basically evaluate how healthy you are. It's amazing. People can go in completely broken and sick, and they come out supposedly healthy. I got back the piece of paper that sums up the meeting, and they wrote that, and I'm translating this, they wrote a young girl, clearly suffering from overweight. First of all, I'm a girl. Now, I'm 27 years old, so it's kind of funny when somebody calls me girl. And they mentioned, doesn't appear to be suffering from nausea and throwing up. Okay? So apparently fat girls can't suffer from nausea and throwing up. So if you are fat, there's no way you're suffering from it. I'm dealing with this very humorous, but I had a breakdown and I yelled and I made this really long video, and I got a lot of responses from people, and a lot of them sympathy, and that made me feel good. That made me feel like that's a low point, and from there I kind of been steadily going up. I still haven't received an answer about the final decision, but you know. What else? So the nausea. The pain has been kicking in, but I'm annoying myself, especially right now with the fact that I have to study for my exams. I've been letting myself use painkillers, and I have to say that I'm not a big fan of using painkillers because, well, painkillers. And I just found out that when I save it for the moments that I'm going to really need them, and not just kind of sitting around, but when I do take them, it does help me to, I think what it does is it really neutralizes the pain, which allows me to focus and actually study, and that's amazing. Treatment. I'm taking Cymbalta, and I don't think Cymbalta is being as effective anymore. The dizziness, the nausea, I think it's still working for my diabetic neuropathy and my feet, but I think that the fact that my pain level has gone up does show that Cymbalta is not as effective on that. I'm still suffering. Oh, I've never mentioned this before. I'm one of those itchiers. My skin is completely irritated all the time. So I'm gonna go back and talk about that. But one thing that I have been checking out is the herbal supplement, the supplement method, and I've been reading a lot about this. And it's basically about adding certain supplements into your diet in order to boost your health. And it doesn't necessarily make your fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome disappear completely, but it can help. So I'm thinking about taking several things. I'm going to consult with my doctor. Most cases they're going to tell me, can't help, but if you want to take it. Now, my philosophy is, even if it works as a placebo, if it works, it works. I don't care why. If it doesn't hurt me, it doesn't cause any damage, then I'm willing to take it. I currently take a supplement of calcium, 500 milligrams, and I also take B12. I don't know why, but it's those little ones that you put under your tongue and they kind of dissolve. And I take those because the B12, I take metamorphin or glucamine or glucophage, or depending on which company you're asking, for diabetes, and that apparently causes for your B12 levels to drop. So if you're diabetic and you take the glucamine, glucophage, whatever, you should always make sure that your B12 levels haven't dropped, and if they do, you can just take a supplement. It's really that easy. Calcium I take because there is a history of osteoporosis in my family, and scared shitless of it. Excuse my language. And my doctor says that it can't, can't hurt. So I'm taking 500 milligrams. I've been eating less dairy, but that doesn't seem to have any effect on my irritable bowel. My dad, who's been suffering from irritable bowel, is gone on a gluten-free diet, and that seems to have really helped. Not completely solve the problem, but I'm thinking about maybe trying it in the 2 weeks that I have like a spacing of not a heavy workload at school, and maybe trying that. And also making sure it's not during that time of the month. I started doing gluten-free. It lasted for 3 days, and then I got my period, and then I said, screw this, I'm eating pasta. So you should really time it. It's easier if you're a man, or if you're menopause, if you pass through menopause already. So that's the update. I think I've covered all the topics. I think that's it. I'm also going to be uploading a video about the test I did. I did a colonoscopy, and I'm really, I have to do it. So I am going to do it. And that's it, I think. So thank you, and I'll see you next video, hopefully. And I don't think I'm going to make one next week, but probably in 2 weeks' time. So, bye-bye.